Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us here on 24 Plus News Live. I'm Yvonne Cooper. Ruben Diaz does have another day off, but we have a lot to get into today, so let's dive straight into your top 5. Up first, Tennessee Senator Brent Taylor says that Memphis and Shelby County can now hire crime lab scientists from the state's TBI lab in Jackson. He and Memphis Mayor Paul Young met with the TBI director David Roush and agreed to assign scientists just for Memphis cases. Now, it will cost about $157,000 for the first year and $140,000 each year after. You'll hear from leaders next. 2. Let's take a live look at your current temperatures as you head up and out the door this morning. It is 75 degrees in the city of Memphis. It's 70 degrees in Holly Springs and 69 degrees in Forest City, a little cooler over there. We do know that rain is on our way back into the forecast, so meteorologist Kit Thomas will have a look at your full forecast coming up in minutes. Number 3, after a year of research and planning, a 177-page study on the Shelby County Jail is complete. The study shows that one way to improve overcrowding could be to build a new jail to complement 201 Poplar. Another option would shut down 201 Poplar altogether and build a new jail near Shelby Farms. We will also have more on the other option coming up in just a few minutes. And 4, a former Memphis police officer who pleaded guilty to both state and federal charges in the death of Tyree Nichols wants to delay his sentencing. Emmett Martin III is scheduled to be sentenced on June 18th, but his attorneys are requesting to move the date until after the other 4 men in the case are sentenced. Martin's attorneys argue that he was a cooperating witness who has yet to resolve his plea deal. Find out more on his claims next. And finally, number 5, if President Donald Trump's big, beautiful bill passes, nearly 2 million Tennessee families will lose SNAP benefits and Medicaid. Nearly 1.5 million Tennessee families depend on Medicaid. 280,000 children statewide benefit from SNAP benefits. President Donald Trump is hoping that this historic legislation will get passed by lawmakers and will be on his desk to sign by July 4th. In just a few minutes, we will be hearing from families that are scared about the potential cuts and what it could mean for them and their children. Our top story this morning, Memphis and Shelby County will now have the resources to solve crimes faster. Leaders have been given the green light to hire scientists from the TBI crime lab in Jackson. ABC24's Kevin McNamara explains.
2 full-time dedicated forensic scientists will work at the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation crime lab in Jackson. The city will fund both positions, and they will exclusively focus on DNA and ballistics testing work for MPD.
With those 2 big pieces answered, we've got an opportunity here to solve cases faster, to identify suspects, and to put them behind bars.
Shelby County Mayor Lee Harris has also recently presented a proposal, along with DA Steve Mulroy, for a local crime lab fully independent of the TBI.
We've got a lot of law enforcement agencies that are doing investigations and need help to bring some of these investigations to closure. There are a lot of victims out there that really want to see the culprit in their particular crime brought to justice.
The lack of a dedicated crime lab has been an issue for years, with bipartisan calls for more resources. Now, the city and county have taken a step in the right direction.
The point is we've got lots of victims in Shelby County, and we've got lots of open investigations, and we are positioned to solve many more of them if we have more capacity to support those investigatory services.
The arrangement will remain in place until the city or county moves ahead with building an independent crime lab of their own. After years of research and planning, a 177-page study on the Shelby County Jail is complete. The study shows that one way to improve overcrowding could be to build a new jail to complement 201 Poplar. A second option would be to shut down 201 Poplar completely and just build a new jail near Shelby Farms. And a third option suggests building a new jail in the New Chicago area and possibly closing the Jail East building. New details this morning. A former Memphis police officer who pleaded guilty to both state and federal charges in the death of Tyree Nichols wants to now delay his sentencing. Emmett Martin III is scheduled to be sentenced on June 18th. His attorneys are requesting this move until after the other 4 men in this case are all sentenced. Martin's attorneys argue that he was a cooperating witness who has yet to resolve his plea deal. His attorneys also stated that his mental health expert will not be available to testify on the 18th. Justin Smith, Tadarius Bean will both be sentenced on June 16th, followed by Demetrius Haley's hearing on the 17th. Desmond Mills Jr.'s sentencing hearing was pushed back, and it is now scheduled for June 23rd.
We're starting off today with temperatures getting up to around 70 degrees in the next couple hours here. 75 there by 8 a.m. Midday, we're already in the 80s. We're going to sort of plateau there. We might have a stray shower or two that may come in and bring our temperatures down quite a bit more than this, but as we head through the afternoon into the evening, we'll still all be cooling down. We do have a chance for some rain around the area this afternoon. We see maybe a very isolated shower chance this afternoon. Not everyone's going to see much of anything, but as we get into the evening, out of the southwest, we've got a line of thunderstorms that could start to move our direction here. The exact timing and positioning of this has been jumping around a bit on the models, but we could see a line of storms, maybe a chance for some gusty winds up to 60 miles per hour. So there is a severe weather chance. Then into Friday morning, we've got another round of some rain and thunderstorms around the area, and that lingers into northern Mississippi through our Friday as well. Today, we're getting up to about 86, so it is going to be a warm day with those scattered showers. Dew points are also creeping back up into the 60s and 70s, so it's going to feel a little more humid out there. Again, mid-80s tomorrow, some places even in the low 80s, just with all that added cloud cover. Here's a look at your rain chances. Saturday is going to be our best chance. Then it starts to taper off next week. We'll look at your 7-day temperatures in just a few minutes.
News right now, the Memphis-Shelby County School Board has approved a nearly $2 billion budget for the upcoming fiscal year. Funding to cover this budget will come from several different sources, with the largest chunk coming from the state at more than $888 million. Shelby County itself will pitch in about $650 million, and the city of Memphis will provide $1.3. Board members will be able to make amendments to the budget through June 30th, but this budget still will need approval from Shelby County commissioners. If President Donald Trump's big, beautiful bill passes, nearly 2 million Tennessee families will lose SNAP benefits and Medicaid. ABC24's Desmond Nugent spoke with a mother who says that her children's lives depend on those resources.
Taranika Maxwell spoke here at the NAACP Memphis headquarters and explained that her family needs to stay on Medicaid. She says without those federal funds, she's just not sure how her family will survive. These are not just one, but 7 faces who Taranika Maxwell says depend on Medicaid, her children.
I know I've been in the predicament of how I feel, and I know if it was to get taken from us, I would know what it feels like.
Maxwell says of her 7 children, 1 has juvenile arthritis and leukemia. 2 of her kids are autistic. She says it will be 10 times worse if their Medicaid gets cut, despite the help from local organizations.
Even though it's benefiting me in so many ways, but at some time it don't last always, and we have to turn to these different organizations for a little extra more help.
Nearly 1.5 million Tennessee families depend on Medicaid. 280,000 children statewide use SNAP benefits. The state's NAACP president, Gloria Sweetlove, says U.S. Senator Marsha Blackburn and Bill Hagerty are not the only elected officials that can prevent those cuts from President Trump's administration.
I encourage you to call the governor's office and tell them we've got this campaign going and it's important, Governor. You need to say to the folks you've got influence on, it is important that we make sure that SNAP and Medicaid continues to happen in Tennessee.
Jessica Peggs with the Tennessee Caregiver Coalition says, as a mother with a career, medical care for her 12-year-old son with multiple disabilities would not be possible without Medicaid.
Myself and other caregivers are doing this work while sacrificing our own income, careers, and even their homes. Family caregiving is a non-stop job with no sick days, no holidays, and no overtime.
Sweetlove says they will continue to help families no matter what happens. President Trump is hoping that this historic legislation not only gets passed by lawmakers, but that it's on his desk to sign by July 4th. In downtown Memphis, I'm Desmond Nugent.
Turning now to elections, the race for Shelby County Mayor is expanding. Criminal Court Clerk Heidi Kuhn is now running for Shelby County Mayor. She is actually the first woman to announce her campaign. Kuhn has a 25-year track record in county government, fighting for resources to reduce the criminal court backlog. Former County Commissioner J.W. Gibson, City Councilman J.B. Smiley, County Commissioner Mikkel Lowry, businessman Harold Collins, County Assessor Melvin Burgess are all vying for this same spot. The primary election will be May 5th of next year.
Highs today are going to be back up into the 80s across the area. Some low to mid 80s across eastern Arkansas here. Northern parts of Mississippi mostly in the mid 80 range, and again mid 80s here across western Tennessee. And you see a couple spots here with some lightning and some rain on the way. We might have some pop-up thunderstorms through the day. The thing is, the last couple of days it's been really dry, lots of sunshine, but now we're getting that southern wind and it's bringing up our dew points back into the 70s, even mid 70s once we get there into Sunday and Monday. The higher the dew point, the more muggy and just that air you can wear feel, where it just feels like you're walking into a freshly opened dryer. It's going to be humid out there. Looking at the heat index, that's going to make it feel hotter than the actual air temperature. Air temperatures are going to be in the mid 80s for the most part of the weekend, but then into next week, those dew points getting back into the 70s and air temperatures back around 90 degrees. It's going to feel like it's the upper 90s. So let's take a look at the forecast, as we do have a level 1 risk around the area here. A very isolated chance for some thunderstorms that could be severe. A surface low pressure system coming through, spinning those storms out of the southwest. They bring us another round on Friday morning across the area. So that's across eastern Arkansas with that. Then as that low continues to push north very slowly, it just continues to churn out more and more thunderstorms through the day and into our Saturday. We've got another round. Eventually that's going to move out, but it's still moving so slowly that even Sunday we've got rain chances, and even Monday we've got more rain on the way from the southwest. So that could lead to some heavy rainfall totals through next Wednesday. Some of us getting only 1.5 inches to 2 inches. Some places could get up to almost 4 inches of rainfall. So it could be some very heavy rain for us. Keep an eye out for any flash flooding over the next several days. Today, a high around 86, like we said. The thunderstorms are coming in the afternoon and really the evening time frame, so most of the day will stay dry with very little impact. Overnight tonight, we'll see the clouds coming in, a low around 71 degrees, and then over the next 7 days, through into the weekend, we're cooling down a little bit. We get back into the 90s by next week.
All right, it's time to talk about what's trending with Miss Alicia Renee. It is the reunion that K-pop fans have been waiting for. K-pop megastars RM and V from BTS have been discharged from South Korea's mandatory military service, triggering a global fan frenzy. The two are the final members to complete the 18-month requirement, with all 7 expected to be back late June. Fans lined up outside military bases with banners reading, "We are back," as anticipation builds for BTS's full comeback. Analysts say that a reunion could bring $4 billion to South Korea's economy. The group's 12th anniversary event, BTS Festa, kicks off Friday. Good for them.
I
And good
know.
for the fans.
It's exciting. I think the one thing that stood out reading about this story is they said the Army isn't easy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it brings back the song, I'm so glad.
Yes.
Trouble don't last always. Listen.
Had to turn on some of their music today because I was like, BTS, what is that group? I was like, wait a minute, do I know
I had
them?
to learn about them too.
Yes, and some friends in the newsroom were like, you know the song, you just don't know you know the song. That's smooth like butter. That's them. Yeah, that
I
is
like
them.
that.
So I would love to hear them come back and do it all together as a group. It's been a while.
Yeah, I'm sure they may add a little bit of their experiences into the music too.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
It's gonna be exciting.
New music would be great for them.
Yeah,
That's a great
absolutely.
point. All right, let's turn to this. An 88-year-old grandmother from Maine finally graduated from college after 60 years. Joan Alexander studied to be a teacher at the University of Maine in the 1950s, and she never finished. Joan's daughter recently reached out to the school after realizing that she had met her student teaching requirements to finish the degree back in the 80s. The school responded with a recognition at this year's commencement ceremony and made her an official member of the class of 2025.
Wow.
It's
I guess
never
it's
too
never
late.
too late.
Yes, ma'am. It is never
Never
too late.
Listen, Grandma, if you want to go to school, you got to go to school. Girl, go and get
Amen.
the degree.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure maybe like her family and, you know, I guess kids, if she has children, are excited to know that she can be an inspiration even at her old age.
Yes, you are never too old to achieve any dream.
Yeah.
You can never not make a pivot if you don't, if you want to or not. You can do anything.
It gives people, I guess, hope to just kind of move forward and do what it is that they always hoped and dreamed of.
Absolutely. And didn't she look fabulous in that cap and gown? She looked nice.
Real good.
All right, and this could be nice as well. Who knows? The unique flavor of a well-known craft beer now has a companion lip balm. So a beer and a lip balm. Beauty company Eos has partnered with Blue Moon Beer to make a Blue Moon flavored lip balm. It is all part of Molson's Coors plan to revive the beer brand. Blue Moon has a Valencia orange flavor brewed into it, and this new lip balm is inspired by that punchy orange flavor. The lip balm packaging is also portraying the Valencia orange. It's available to buy online at Eos and Blue Moon's website, and the cost for this new lip balm is about $5. All right, let's turn now to Hollywood for the world premiere of the new Disney Pixar film, Elio. Take a look.
Hi, can you hear me?
Honey, now is a really bad time.
Okay.
Elio tells the story of a sad, sweet, and lonely boy now being cared for by his aunt after the loss of his parents. He loves space and would like nothing more than to be abducted by aliens. When it actually happens, he finds himself among all sorts of aliens in a vibrant world called the Communiverse. Jonas Kibrieb plays Elio. Zoe Saldana is his aunt Olga.
So many things about Elio are very relatable to me. I was that kid that had lost a parent, that felt like an outsider and wished to be in space rather than in my own, classroom trying to make friends.
This amazing universe that they've created that nobody has seen before, man, it's so crazy. That was going through my head like, wow, I can't believe we're here now. This is the most beautiful place I've ever seen.
This is the bathroom.
The aliens here all look different. Meet Ambassador Cuesta.
She's just everything I wish I was. She's got so much grace and dignity. So that's why I channeled Julie Andrews for the role rather than myself.
Love Julie Andrews.
I love Julie Andrews, and now I've kind of stolen her and then immortalized her for Pixar.
The actors in Elio are loving every minute of it.
We have the same goal in mind, and that's making a beautiful project. And I think we've done just that.
I come from a Disney family. My family is obsessed with Disney. My parents' house is Mickey and Minnie all over the place, so this is really special to me.
Brad Garrett plays a strong-minded character in Elio. What he's never played is a reporter, so he gave it a go.
I am presently at the Motion Picture Home in Calabasas. We're having a seance. We have brought back B. Arthur and two people from F Troop. I don't even know what them. I always wanted to be a reporter.
And scene. We'll see Elio in theaters on June 20th. In Hollywood, George Pinocchio for ABC News.
That looks pretty fun. Now let's turn to a story that has really stayed in the spotlight for months. The clock is ticking for TikTok to remain online in the U.S. The popular social media network app has 8 days left to find a buyer. Last year, Congress passed a bill forcing TikTok's parent Chinese company, ByteDance, to sell the platform due to national security concerns. President Donald Trump has already extended this deadline twice and is reportedly considering a third reprieve. Billionaire businessman Frank McCourt and his partners are among several investment groups bidding to acquire this app. We'll be right back after this short break. Right now, the Southern Baptist Convention just passed a resolution supporting efforts to ban gay marriage. The Supreme Court made it legal 10 years ago this month. The vote happened in Dallas at the convention's annual meeting last night. Critics contend that the church is selectively targeting gay marriage and has not pushed back on other forms of marriage mentioned in the Bible. And with Pride Month in full swing right now, LGBTQ plus advocates are focused on the continued fight for equal rights. ABC's Christian Cordero takes us to where a lot of that modern day rights movement started, which is at the Stonewall Inn in New York.
This is the Stonewall Inn, a national landmark and gay bar that was the site of the Stonewall Uprising.
On June 28, 1969, there was a riot where the community fought back against the police for one of the first times to ever say, we're here, we're queer, get used to it.
Co-owner of the Stonewall Inn and CEO of the Stonewall Inn Gives Back initiative, Stacy Lentz, says people from all over the world stop by, especially during Pride Month. 56 years after the riots, Lentz says it's more important than ever to create safe spaces for the LGBTQ plus community.
Our community is under attack more than we've ever been. We are seeing a massive shift around LGBTQ rights.
Trans activist and board member of the Stonewall Inn Gives Back initiative, Angelica Christina, says many LGBTQ plus nonprofits are losing funding.
There's a bill in Texas that seeks to criminalize trans folks who want to have their true gender markers on their government document. The National Park Service's website removed T and Q plus, so now all you see is LGBT. That is an entire erasure of folks.
Christina says the consequences are real and can be a matter of life and death. The Trevor Project estimates at least one LGBTQ plus young person between 13 and 24 years old attempts suicide every 45 seconds. And now the federal government has proposed eliminating funding for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline's specialized services for LGBTQ plus youth.
I understand how lonely it can feel and how your whole world just crumbles because all you're trying to do is survive.
Making a difference can start with a Google search.
Research the history of trans, non-binary, and intersex folks. We're not new. And show up to a rally. We're not setting out to harm anybody.
To the politicians who are against our community right now, my message is really, you're on the wrong side of history. We are not going anywhere, and we're going to keep fighting back, just like the folks did here at the Stonewall Inn.
Christian Cordero, ABC News.
This is a national concern called digital screen distress. It is a mix of too much screen time and negative mental health effects. Up to 95% of young of youth ages 13 to 17 reported using a social media platform. That's according to a 2022 Pew Research survey. While these platforms help kids stay connected, experts warn that excessive screen time can lead to anxiety, depression, and even self-harm. Warning signs include irritability, isolation, hopelessness, and in severe cases, suicidal thoughts. Experts urge families to set digital boundaries, encourage outdoor activities, and keep communication open about what kids see online. Experts say that balancing screen time with real-world connections is key to protecting your child's mental health. Extreme heat is one of the leading causes of weather-related deaths. And as our weather heats up, medical experts say that it's more important than ever to understand the signs of heat stroke. Our sister station in Phoenix shows us how quickly these triple-digit temperatures can impact our bodies.
We're just going to take your vital signs.
The summer heat is here.
Your blood pressure, your heart rate, your pulse ox.
Which means it doesn't take much for our bodies to go into overdrive.
So right now your heart rate's 85, so normal would be 60 to 100. But the longer you're out in that heat, it's definitely going to go up. And so in the emergency department, we can see temperatures up to 105 degrees core temperature, and that's fatal.
To show just how little time it takes.
So we're just going to go for a little walk out there, and then no shade, no reprieve.
Banner University Medical Center registered nurse Melissa Luxton checked my resting vitals and then took me for an easy, near 5-minute walk around a football field. Outside temperature 104 degrees.
We're going to see how being in the sun, just going for a casual walk, elevates that heart rate.
That's because while out in the sun, our bodies are fighting to try and keep it at its core temp of 98.6. One big way it does that is with sweating. Glands in the skin release moisture, which evaporates and lowers the body's temperature.
It's really just the depletion of the water content. You're sweating, I'm starting to sweat a little bit.
And if you're not putting enough water back into your system, you'll quickly find yourself in trouble.
It's a super easy calculation. It's 2/3 of your body weight in ounces. That's how much water you should consume. So say you're 125 pounds, it's about 84 ounces a day. Versus if you're 200 pounds, it's almost a gallon.
So what are we expecting once we check vitals again?
I would expect that your heart rate's elevated.
Which it did, again, in almost 5 minutes.
Heart rate's 112, 121 over 85, so your blood pressure stayed the same, but your heart rate's definitely elevated. You were like 85, so you went up about 20 points.
As quickly as it rose, it lowered within seconds.
Your heart rate's already dropping. It's down to 100, 99. So just getting out of that sunlight, we see that immediate transition from that elevated heart rate to lowering.
And with summer temps just getting started, Luxton says it's an important reminder.
That prolonged exposure to the sun with no reprieve of shade, not hydrating properly, all of those things will definitely put you into a heat emergency. And being in Arizona, we have to take extra precaution.
That way, this summer can be a healthy and safe summer for all. Jay Cunningham, 12 News.
The FDA has approved a new antibody to protect infants from RSV. The infection is the top cause of infant hospitalization in the U.S., and it can be deadly. The therapy is given in a single 105 milligram shot to protect newborns and infants from RSV through their first virus season. In a mid to late stage trial, it reduced RSV-associated hospitalization in infants by more than 85% compared to the placebo. The shot also reduced lower respiratory infections that needed medical attention by more than 60%. Merrick hopes that influenza will be available before the start of the 2025-26 respiratory virus season. First, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention needs to recommend it. We'll be right back after this short break. Welcome back. Let's take a look at your national news headlines this morning. A federal court hearing is set for today on whether the Trump administration can use the National Guard and Marines to assist with immigration raids in Los Angeles. California Governor Gavin Newsom filed an emergency motion requesting the court's intervention after President Donald Trump ordered the deployment of roughly 4,000 National Guard members and 700 Marines to L.A. following protests over immigration raids. Los Angeles officials say that the city's curfew appeared to be working, with no reports of looting or vandalism post-curfew. There were also no signs of protesters, Marines, or National Guard members on the streets as well. But protests over federal immigration raids are spreading nationwide, with protesters hitting the streets in San Antonio, Seattle, Chicago, New York, and Atlanta. The Trump administration says that it's reached a new trade deal framework with China, easing tensions between the two of the world's biggest economies. After talks in London and a phone call between both presidents, both sides are now calling this a handshake deal that lowers the highest tariffs but still keeps a steep 55% tax on some Chinese imports. President Trump says U.S. tariffs on Chinese goods will drop to 10%. The deal also backs off threats like banning visas for Chinese students. China agreed to send important minerals to tech or for tech, but the details aren't clear on that just yet. Inflation went up just a bit last month, but prices for basics like food and energy are still easing. And a cyber attack is affecting grocery stores and pharmacies, causing shortages in some areas. The target of the attack is a major distributor for stores like Whole Foods, and the impact could last for days. United Natural Food, or UNFI, was forced to shut down ordering and shipping systems. The company supplies hundreds of thousands of products to more than 30,000 stores, including Whole Foods. Whole Foods says that it's working to restock as quickly as possible, while smaller vendors claim that there's been a lack of communication from UNFI. We should note that Walmart, Target, and Kroger say that they are not affected by this cyber attack. Now to the soda wars bubbling up. Coca-Cola is bringing back a fan favorite after a 5-year hiatus. ABC's Laura Spencer has the details.
This morning, a new salvo in the soda war. Coca-Cola taking on competitors like Dr. Pepper.
You like Dr. Pepper? And its unique blend of 23 flavors.
Revealing they're bringing back an old fan favorite, Diet Cherry Coke. The beverage giant tapping into nostalgia, bringing back the drink from the 1980s after it was discontinued in 2020. But they're making it available exclusively at Kroger's family of stores, starting in mid-July and only for a limited time.
Diet Cherry Coke brings a little bit of nostalgia, but it also, from a taste perspective, does almost compete directly with Diet Dr. Pepper and some of the Dr. Pepper flavor variants that have come out.
This just the latest move in the battle of the beverage brands. In March, Pepsi acquiring prebiotic soda brand Poppi for nearly $2 billion.
This will be the last moment you ever think of soda as being a dirty word.
This as Coca-Cola announced it was launching a rival called Simply Pop in a fight for more health-conscious customers. The soda industry is worth around $97 billion, but sales of traditional soft drinks have dipped slightly in recent years as inflation and other factors put pressure on wallets. The fight for every customer's dollar is fierce as brands try to zero in on what buyers will spend money on.
It's cool Dr. Pepper! It's sweet blackberry flavor!
The interest in flavored soft drinks has come back more in the last few years, and so I think it's bringing something back that was relevant before and seems to be relevant today in terms of where consumer tastes are shifting.
6 new music icons have been inducted in the Memphis Music Hall of Fame. The new inductees were announced on Tuesday, growing the Hall of Fame's list now to 112. ABC24's Alicia Renee has more on the inductees and the program set to honor them all.
a city like Memphis, that's the 29th largest city in the United States, is known in every country on the planet. None of us would probably be able to name the 29th largest city of any other country in the world, but that's because of music, and the whole planet knows Memphis and knows Memphis music.
As Memphis grows in its artistry, so does the legacy of the Memphis Music Hall of Fame.
This is our 13th Memphis Music Hall of Fame induction ceremony. We do it annually at the Cannon Center for the Performing Arts. And this year's induction ceremony is Thursday, September the 25th at the Cannon Center. We're so engaged in our mission to preserve and tell the story of Memphis music that in 2012 we started the Memphis Music Hall of Fame, something that the city of Memphis should have done many decades ago, but better late than never. So we began inducting literally many of the greatest musicians of all time. You're going to be able to name them as much as I'm going to be able to name them. I mean, obviously Elvis Presley, Jerry Lee Lewis, Johnny Cash, B.B. King, Otis Redding, the Staple Singers, the list goes on and on and on.
If you love music, then I was told that you will love the new inductees for the Memphis Music Hall of Fame. I spoke with a native Memphian who has all the names and all the details for every one of them.
We've already inducted 106 musicians into the Memphis Music Hall of Fame. This year on September 25th, we will be inducting 107 to 112. I promise you, everybody's going to know names of this year's inductees. They include Art Gilliam, who is the owner of WLOK Radio, the first black radio owner not only in Memphis, not only in Tennessee, but in the whole entire Southeast. Johnny Taylor. If you don't know R&B music and you don't know Johnny Taylor, the first record that ever went platinum was Disco Lady by Johnny Taylor. An incredible artist. Cordell Jackson. You might not know Cordell Jackson, although you might remember her from a Nike commercial back in the 1980s. She's known as the Rock and Roll Granny. She was the first lady in the country to own her own record company, to write, record, engineer, produce, and distribute her first song at Blue Moon Records. Wendy Moten. This is someone that you've seen recently on shows like The Voice. She's performed and toured with Vince Gill, with Martina McBride, with Michael Bolton, tons of other folks. Her first record that was recorded when about 20 years ago went to #1 in Japan, #4 in Great Britain, and went in the top 10 here in the United States. And she became first runner-up on The Voice a couple of years ago. If anyone knows the blues, there's no bigger name in the blues than Robert Johnson, considered to be the greatest blues musician of all time. Eric Clapton wrote a whole CD, recorded a whole CD of Robert Johnson songs, literally the greatest legendary blues musician of all time. And then if you're talking about R&B, Denise LaSalle. Denise LaSalle came out of Mississippi, came to Memphis, recorded at High Records. Johnny Taylor recorded also at Stax Records. And so you have this kind of incredible music that is being performed. Denise LaSalle, unequivocally titled the Queen of Soul, and she will be honored on the 25th as well. Then you're talking about the special guests that we're going to bring to town, and they will be incredible because all of these folks are deserving of having A-list talent to come into town. So
John Doyle says now is the time people should enhance their awareness of Memphis and its musical history.
Here in Memphis, you're going to hear rock, jazz, soul, R&B, gospel, country as well, rockabilly as well. What I would encourage folks to consider is take an evening, September 25th, and come and enjoy an evening that is just packed with live performances. Not a lot of speeches. We do hand out some incredible trophies to these inductees, but it is a great evening, low price $30 ticket to come and enjoy an evening packed with music. Once or twice or 3 times a year, every one of us should do something that helps us grow as a person, helps grow our mind about our city.
The music, the artists, and the history will continue their legacy here in Memphis, Tennessee. In downtown Memphis, I'm Alicia Renee.
In 3 weeks, the city of Horn Lake, Mississippi will have its first new mayor in more than a decade. Mayor-elect Jimmy Stokes will be the city's first African-American mayor. It was a tight race, with Stokes coming out on top by just 83 votes. ABC24's Leah Williams sat down in studio with the mayor-to-be, and Stokes talked about his historic win and his background as a Memphis native. Today, we have that second half of the interview where the mayor-elect dives deeper into his goals as mayor.
You ran in 2021 as well. You lost to Republican Mayor Alan Latimer. What were you able to learn from that election to help you win this one?
Oh man, a lot of things. How to reach the people. I think last time it was more of a ground game of me introducing myself to the city, so I didn't do a lot of other things, like having a strong social media platform and, you know, realizing you have to do different things to reach different people. And realizing that Horn Lake is so diverse in age and gender and race that every platform don't reach all of Horn Lake. So able to get on the radio, do a few news articles, social media, and at the same time, because Horn Lake want to meet you face to face, you have to knock on doors. Mm-hmm. Those citizens want a cookout feeling, and I'm happy to give it to them. They want to see your face. They want to shake your hand. So I think 2021 was the building block for the win. It wasn't a loss. It was the groundbreaking ceremony of, hey, the future mayor is coming.
And I went out to the polls on election day, and a lot of the voters that I talked to said specifically they want to see more growth. What does that look like to you, and how do you think you could bring that to the citizens?
Being at the table now, being able to work with the Alderman Board to bring more businesses to Horn Lake. That's the first step. We have to find out how to increase the revenue. And we don't want to raise taxes. We want to be able to look at it from building our business economy first, right? And then we're able to bring some more things that the citizens can enjoy. We talked about community center for the kids and the seniors. You know, I visited Forever Young facility, which is at the Bank Plus soccer complex in South Haven many months before I got into office. And one thing I learned is what? You can do both at one time. So we're interested in that, and I think we can do it. We want to also, you know, bring things such as we have skating ring, but what about bowling? You know, we have average age now. The average age in Horn Lake is 35. Mm-hmm. You have young families. Why not capitalize off that? Why not build an economy off that? Look at the advantages we have. So we're going to do that. We're going to grow together. I believe over the next 4 years, we're going to do some great things. We're going to bring some businesses. And hopefully we don't have to bring the same business that South Haven we can do it Horn Lake's way, you know, and we'd be unique in our own way and capitalize off the economy. So that's what I'm going to do to help with growth in Horn Lake.
And Horn Lake has been under a Republican mayor, a mostly Republican board of aldermen. Coming in as a Democrat, do you think there are any challenges you may face, or is there a way you plan to work with both sides?
Yes, most definitely. I already met with both of our Republican aldermen, and I plan on meeting with them some more because I want to make sure we have a great working relationship. When we work, we know I'm a Democrat, of course, I'm a proud Democrat. They're proud Republicans, but guess what? At the end of the day, we all Horn Lake. We got to do what's best for the people right now. We're one Horn Lake. That's one of the things I keep saying, one Horn Lake. At this time, the people made the choice, whether it's 5-2, The main thing is this: we have to work together. And I think all of the candidates that are Democrats, they understand how I operate. Mm-hmm. You know, we're all family. Even to those who didn't win, we're family. So their concerns are my concerns. No matter what you are, Democrat or Republican, your concerns are my concern. Am I proud of being a Democrat? Yes, I am. But guess what? I'm proud more to be the mayor of Horn Lake, one city.
So just from talking to your Republican constituents, what are some issues that they have that you think you can issues that they want to see and changes in the city that they have that you can try to help kind of bridge the gap and make changes in those areas?
Right. I think most of them want to see this growth. I think how to get there is the question they probably have. I just mentioned we got to work together. Mm-hmm. But I think they want to make sure that our city stays safe, that we don't bring anything that can cause cultural shocks, that scare people, that cause us not to be safe. They want to see us do things clean, and we will do that, professional, and we will do that, and be fair. We will do that. The key is I want to keep the peace. I want to make sure we all work together. People have to live next door to each other. We want to keep peace in Horn Lake. We want to be one, and I think I can do that. So I'm just proud that they give me that opportunity to even help them reach their dreams of Horn Lake. Matter of fact, I'll be meeting with Mayor candidate Klein mm-hmm. to also talk about his vision. That's one thing I mentioned him last night. I want to hear your vision. I want to know more about what you want to do so that we can sit down and make sure that, guess what, we accomplish things together as one city.
So my last question for you, what would you say to voters that maybe didn't vote for you or just didn't vote at all, just to instill confidence in them on the future of Horn Lake?
What would I say? We're about to have a good time. We're going to be, all of us are family. You're going to see a mayor that cares, that's in the community, a mayor that you can come talk to. I'm going to work for everybody. That's the key. I work for everybody. I serve, the city is they're the bosses. I drove past every pothole. I rode around the city when it was flooding a lot during those rains recently. I wanted to know where every water main issue was. And look, I saw it. I see it. I care. I'm going to move as fast as I can to try to get some things done so that you see some improvements over these next 4 years. I want to be successful, and me being successful come through Horn Lake being successful. So the issues that they have, I'm here. I'm ready to work on them. You'll see a city hall that work for you. I'm going to make sure everybody know every day the city hall that I run works for the people. And I'm gonna deal with every complaint. If people are nasty to you, I'm going to work on changing the culture pretty much. I'm going to make sure everybody get treated fairly, get treated right. So I'm just happy to serve the people.
Well, again, congratulations and thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Take a look at these beautiful photos sent in by our viewer, Philip Webster. It shows the sunrise from Wednesday and just a beautiful pink sky. It is absolutely stunning. Now, he sent in these photos to our ABC24 Memphis Weather Watchers Facebook page. And if you want to show off your family or your view, you can join that Facebook page with him and several others. Or you can just text us your photos at the number on your screen. That's 901-321-7520.
All right, thanks for joining us here on 24 Plus. I'm Ruben Diaz, joined by Mikkel Lowry, Commissioner Mikkel Lowry.
That's right. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you this great day?
Doing well.
Now, you're here to help us talk about something that is near and dear to both of our hearts.
That's right.
We're both fathers.
Yep.
And Father's Day is coming up, and you guys want to really help celebrate Father's Day. Tell the people a little bit about what's going on.
Yeah, we're excited about it. Now, listen, we love our mothers, so
yeah,
I want to leave that out, right?
We're not getting in trouble.
Love our moms, right? We love our moms. But we want to make sure we're shouting out our fathers and giving them those flowers as well. So we do our annual Salute to Fatherhood event every year on Father's Day. And I tell people, you know, when it comes to Mother's Day, you can't find a reservation anywhere, right?
Yeah.
And Father's Day, you can walk in anywhere. But we wanted to make sure we're celebrating those fathers. So what we've done, this event was started by my father, Myron Lowry, and by Gail Jones Carson in the 90s. And it's been going on for a number of years. We took a little break during the pandemic, but we're bringing it back so we get nominations in from families or just from community members who wants to celebrate fathers and grandfathers, and we have a dinner on Father's Day with a guest speaker, and we really make sure we give those folks those flowers.
Now, as a dad, we often do get overlooked. Can we just be real? I mean, you get a tie or something, you know what I mean? Like Father's Day comes and it's like, oh, you know, here's a book, you know, whatever. But on Mother's Day, you got to go all out, right?
That's
so you don't get in trouble. So why is this so important in the community? I think it's huge for the community because obviously having more male father figures only helps, right?
It's exactly what you just said there, because sometimes it's not about just being a father in the household. It doesn't mean that you come from a two-parent household, wherever it may be. Sometimes it's those coaches that need to be celebrated, those just community father figures, somebody that just lived in your block and said, hey, get out the side of the street, wherever it may be, because it impacts communities. It takes a village. So we want to make sure that we just really honoring those fathers and those father figures on Father's Day. And so they can make sure that, hey, they're getting celebrated. Maybe not like the moms, but, you know, we get it. We got to love our moms. But it really does impact our community when we have strong fathers or father figures that really care about what goes on.
And I've been in Memphis for about a year and a half at this point. And that's one thing that I have noticed in this city and in this community, more so than some of the other places that I lived, is there are a lot of father figure people who take that onus upon themselves to help other kids that aren't their own kids.
Exactly. Listen, I appreciate my father and love him for everything he's done for me as well. But I tell you, if it had been some of those coaches that I had going along the way, who knows where I would be? Because the parents sometimes can't do it by themselves. There are teachers out there that are father figures or those uncles or whatever it may be, that's someone that just says, hey, here's a life lesson, take with you. And sometimes we emulate those going forward. So we got to make sure that we're showing fathers that love and that appreciation. So we're happy to do that. The event's going to be at the Holiday Inn Central on Father's Day at 2 o'clock, and Pastor J. Lawrence Turner from Mississippi Boulevard is going to be the keynote speaker. So we're excited about it.
And he speaks very well.
There he does.
And can people come to this event, attend it, help celebrate as well? I mean, how do they get tickets? How do they get invited?
Yeah, you need to get tickets. So if you call 222-1000, again, that number is 222-1000.
We'll put that up on the screen here.
Well, great. I appreciate that. And she'll let you know if we have any tickets. Now, we may have a few available, but I'm going to tell people, stop waiting until the last minute to celebrate your dads, right? You know, I tell folks, here it is. After you have Mother's Day dinner, whatever it may be, on that Monday, go ahead and make your Father's Day plans. Start planning. Right? So we may have a couple tickets left, but if we don't, we'll make sure you get on that list for next year.
Yeah. And so the community support, I think, is huge also for people to come celebrate. So we're celebrating fathers, but also getting people in the building to see that celebration and see how the community comes together, I think it's got to be huge as well.
Yeah, it's great because I'm telling you, when we call these fathers and say, hey, you've been recommended by someone, you've been nominated, you can almost hear the pride coming through their voice, right? So sometimes it's not just family members there, it's the community members that are there as well. There's neighbors, there again, athletes that they've coached along the way. There are mentors and mentees that are there as well. We're celebrating grandfathers as well. That's an important part of it. So we just make sure we need to stand up those dads, again, because what they do cannot be measured, the impact they have on communities. And again, we need strong father figures in our community, strong male figures in our community to help turn some of these things around.
All right, so one more time before we let you go, because I know you're a busy man. You don't have all day to sit here and talk to me. When is the event?
Sure.
Where is it located, and where can people get more information if they want to try to attend or at least get on the list for next year?
All right, so the event is going to be at the Holiday Inn Central at 2 o'clock. If you're interested in attending, please call 222-1000 and speak to Ryan, and hopefully we may have some tickets available, but if not, next year, we'll have you on the list.
Ryan's phone's probably going to blow up.
It's
so you're going to get a text from Ryan saying, stop giving my number out.
She's prepared for it. She's prepared.
And what's the name of the event again?
Salute to Fatherhood.
Salute to Fatherhood. Well, I salute you for coming out today. We appreciate it. It is a great event. I'm so glad that we could take the time to tell people more about it because, again, near and dear to both of our hearts for sure. That's right. So thank you, Commissioner Lowry, for being here.
And happy early Father's Day to you.
Oh, thanks. Same to you as well. All right. I don't think I need to get you a tie. You already got a nice one.
That's right.
All right, before we wrap things up, let's take a look at the top 3 stories you need to know today. Tennessee Senator Brent Taylor says that Memphis and Shelby County can now hire crime lab scientists from the state's TBI lab in Jackson. He and Memphis Mayor Paul Young met with the TBI director and agreed to assign scientists just for Memphis cases. It will cost about $157,000 for the first year and $140,000 for each year after that. The city can hire the scientists or they can pay the state to do it. And after a year of research and planning, a 177-page study on the Shelby County Jail is complete. The study showed that one way to improve overcrowding could be to build a new jail to complement 201 Poplar. Another option would shut down 201 Poplar and build a new jail near Shelby Farms. And a third option suggests building a new jail in the New Chicago area and possibly closing the Jail East building. And finally, the Memphis Shelby County School Board approved a nearly $2 billion budget for the upcoming school year. Funding for this budget will come from several different areas and sources, with the largest chunk coming from the state at more than $888 million. Shelby County will pitch in $650 million, and the city of Memphis will provide $1.3. Board members will be able to make amendments to the budget through June 30th, but this budget still needs approval from Shelby County commissioners. We, of course, will keep you up to date on if and when they do that. 24 News or 24 Plus News Live. Make sure that you follow us on social media to keep up with the latest news as always. All right, we'll be back same time tomorrow. See you then.
Continue with us and watch free now on the 24 Plus app everywhere you stream.